Sometimes when it's dark and I'm all alone, I think, what would Buffy do? Probably find some way to kick, punch and stab the darkness into submission. Oh, and greetings everyone, and welcome to this particularly dimly lit episode of pack opening videos. Unfortunately, I don't have any stakes, but I do have this vampire-themed card back right here, Dark Saviors. Maybe I can use these cards to give the vampires some paper cuts? YuGiOh does reference plenty of ancient Egyptian stuff, so maybe these are imbued with some ancient arcane power that I can use. So let's not waste more time and get right into it. Now, open thine shiny plastic body for me. Here we go. Opening it right up. And 5 more cards to choose. First up, we've got Bravo Fighter for Hire, and I'm a bit familiar with the For Hire cards, and I would say that I do like most of them, at least in terms of gameplay and effects. Bravo, however, is one that I haven't seen a lot nor used a lot, if at all. He's some sort of anthropomorphic lizard man or salamander. He's got some Wolverine claws suited on his forearms, and some dark, pointy, scraggly armor, all while showing off that bare chest of his. He's a 4-star reptile monster with 1900 attack and 200 defense. During your main phase, you can special summon 1 monster for hire from your hand, except Bravo Fighter for Hire. If a monster for hire is special summoned to your field while you control this monster, except during the damage step, you can have all monsters for hire currently on the field gain 500 attack and defense until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect of Bravo Fighter for Hire once per turn. And I like the For Hire monsters, I like this card, it's got nice attack points and easy to summon, but unfortunately this is literally the only Dark Saviors pack that I have, so the likelihood of me getting more of these particular ones is nil. Zilch, zero, nada. I'll keep my eye on you, Mr. Bravo. Is your first name Johnny by any chance? Moving on to the next card. Sky Striker Mecha Hornet Drones. It's a quick spell card and it depicts an anime girl with a bunch of drones flying around her. Judging by her stance, she's commanding them to go forth, but judging by these drones' trajectories, they don't know where they're actually going. The effect, however, if you control no monsters on your main monster zones, special summon 1 Sky Striker Ace token, Warrior Dark level 1, attack 0 and defense 0, in defense position, which cannot be attributed, and if you have 3 or more spells in your GY when this effect resolves, the token's attack and defense become 1500 instead. And the same type of logic would apply to this card. I don't see myself getting other Sky Striker type cards, so probably gonna be useless to me. Moving on to the next one, we've got Magical Citadel of Endymion. They're taking the hobbits to Endymion. They're taking the hobbits to Endymion. Doesn't really roll off the tongue that well, does it? Which is a big ol' city, a fantasy city that's been walled off and has a bunch of arcane runes around it just protecting it. At least I presume it's protecting it. It's also my first ever field spell card. And as for the effect, each time a spell card is activated, place 1 spell counter on this card when that spell resolves. If a card with a spell counter is destroyed, place its spell counters on this card. Once per turn, if you would activate a card effect by removing 1 spell counter from your field, you can remove that many spell counters from this card instead. If this card would be destroyed, you can remove 1 spell counter from this card instead. Now if I was running a deck that had a lot of spell counter type cards, then this would be quite handy, but so far I only have a Power of the Guardian, and that card is very handy and this card would help it, but at the same time I can't just pick cards because they help only one card, particularly if I don't really plan on having a deck that's built around this strategy. Coming right up, we next have Vampire Grimson. who is a Grim Reaper of ambiguous gender, wielding a giant scythe that's clearly not for farming. Let's see, it's a 5-star zombie monster, my first ever zombie monster with an attack of 2000 and defense of 1400. If a monster you control would be destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, you can pay 1000 life points for each monster that would be destroyed. Instead, you must protect all your monsters that will be destroyed if you use this effect. At the end of the battle phase, if this card destroyed any monsters by battle, you can special summon them from the GYs to your field. And that's not too shabby of an effect. And its attack and defense are quite nice as well, so once again the only thing that's keeping me from it is that tribute, cause I already have plenty of monsters that require tributes to summon onto the field. I am not an expert on how to balance decks exactly. And the final card for today is Plaguespreader Zombie, which is a chimera looking kind of zombie with all kinds of composite parts from different animals all over its body. Maybe a Frankenstein would be the better term for it. And it very much does look like it's in horrible pain from all of the diseases. It is a 2-star monster with an attack of 400 and defense of 200, and it's a tuner. Yay! I could use a tuner if I ever want to synchro summon something. And if this card is in your GY, you can place one card from your hand on the top of the deck, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. So even if I use this as synchro material, tribute material, or if my opponent just beats it up, then I can still bring it out at some point, whenever I really need it. Straight off the bat, Plaguespreader Zombie. I'm gonna pick this guy. You know, he's not much to look at, but he's got a heart of gold. Perhaps even several hearts, some of which might be in his digestive system, but nonetheless he's useful. So it's down to Johnny Bravo, the Reptile or Vampire Grimson. Cause I'm not picking any of those spell cards, that's for sure. Bravo would be the safe option, most likely. He's got high attack for a 4-level monster, whereas Vampire Grimson is the one with the most utility. And if combined with the super team Body Force, this Vampire Grimson could potentially be summoned using the Plaguespreader Zombie that I just got. Though I do feel like my deck is starting to lean towards a lot of high-level monsters at this point. So safety with high attack or risky with better utility. Although looking at a lot of the cards that I have picked already, I think I could still manage to protect my lower tier monsters in order to tribute summon these big hitters, so I'm gonna go with my gut and I'm gonna pick the Vampire Grimson. And thus 2 zombie-type monsters join my team. So sorry Johnny Bravo, but you're just gonna have to chase some Argonian tail somewhere else. And with that, rather than defeating the forces of evil, I have instead made them join me. A stellar strategy if I've ever heard of one. And with that, the witching hour is over. I hope you all stay safe and I'll catch you later.